Now here's a video I once upon a time thought I'd never be making. I've had a very rocky relationship with Bioshock over the years. I initially didn't like the game at all, as my older fans remember, and it caused great confusion among them, because most of them love this game. So, to my older fans, the reason I initially didn't like Bioshock is because when I first played it, I was 17 and hot off the heels of the Call of Duty 4 beta and a bunch of other fast-paced first-person shooters. I was a very different gamer, a very different person even, and I was trying to play Bioshock like it was a regular first-person shooter, which didn't work out very well. 8 years later, though, I've changed considerably, and when I bought my new computer back in June 2015, I saw the entire trilogy was up for sale on Steam for $10, and I said, you know what, let's go back and take another look at this. I'm older, I'm wiser, much more experienced, maybe it'll be different this time. And if you were guessing this entire time that I like Bioshock now, then you're right. I enjoyed Bioshock very much, and for everyone back then who said it's a thinker's FPS, you guys were absolutely right. You can play Bioshock like a regular first-person shooter, but the motion board of your character and the aiming mechanics don't make this a very viable option. They're not fast or fluid at all. Jack is very slow and aiming is very cumbersome in comparison to most other shooters. That, and it just makes the game much more fun and considerably easier if you take the time to learn the finer points, though you've got quite a bit to learn. You have to keep track of your health, your Eve, which is the energy that fuels your plasmids. You have to keep track of how many kits you have to replenish both of them. You have to keep track of your Atom, your money, and 3 types of ammo for 6 guns. I know it shows 8 weapons here, but the wrench doesn't use any ammo and the camera only takes film, just in case you guys were wondering. On top of the aforementioned things, you also have 4 categories of plasmids, each with 6 slots, only 2 of which are available to start, and all of this costs Atom. The only way to get it is by either killing or saving the Little Sisters. You also have health and Eve upgrades, so you have to plan ahead and spend your Atom very wisely, especially if you want to save the Little Sisters, which only gives you half the Atom you would get by killing them. You do get a bonus of Atom for every 3 or so sisters you save, but either way, you're gonna have to think long-term here. I know, it can seem very overwhelming at first glance, and it overwhelmed my 17-year-old mind big time. But trust me when I say this, taking the time to learn all the finer points of this game is definitely worth it. As the game went by and the enemies became stronger and stronger, and I found new weapons, new plasmids, and got upgrades to pretty much everything, I found myself constantly developing new strategies. And my favorite way of playing the game was by hacking all the cameras and turrets and making them do the work for me, because the enemies do respawn once you leave an area and go back. So this provided a bit of a long-term solution because the cameras and turrets do stay loyal to you once you hack them, and even after the splicers destroyed all the turrets, they don't go after the cameras for some reason, so the cameras would keep sicking sentry bots on them and removing some of the work for me. So yeah, I enjoyed Bioshock immensely. But one complaint from the old days still stands. Bioshock pads itself unnecessarily on many occasions. Most of these I was fine with, some of them even made sense. However, just before the final battle, there's this half-hour-long segment where one of the Little Sisters escorts you, and I say that with quotes, to the final boss. This is a classic escort mission, and that is not a good thing by any means, because not only is every single splicer, turret, their entire extended family, and even a couple big daddies trying to kill both you and her, but Bioshock at this point has also found the perfect excuse to up the annoyance ante to a factor of 12 out of fucking 10 by saying, oh yeah, because the Little Sister no longer has the slug in her, she's no longer immortal, so you have to deal with her fucking health bar, which, by the way, doesn't regenerate. So, good luck, screw you, have a nice day, shithead. I miraculously managed to do this in one shot, but I still fucking hate it with a passion. Not only does this not make sense, because for every other mission in the game, you could either turn the directional arrow on, which would have shown you the way, or just found it yourself by looking at the map. But also, for 2 hours prior to this, you're running around, modding yourself to become a big daddy, and apparently the reason for this, as I was told, is so that the Little Sister will trust you, even though this makes no fucking sense, because she's a freed Little Sister, no longer under the influence of Atom or anything like that, so why the fuck is this needed? Jeez, and I thought the segment where Ryan destroyed all the fucking trees in the garden sector was bad. That being said, I hope my little rant here hasn't swayed anybody away from trying Bioshock if they haven't already, because it is a magnificent game, aside of that one glaring flaw that still irks me. Anyways, Bioshock is definitely a different kind of FPS experience, even for someone like me, who had experienced just about every manner of first-person shooters. And for those who are looking for a first-person shooter with some RPG elements and a little bit of open-worldness, or just something different from the mainstay first-person shooter, I definitely recommend giving this one a try. And as it stands, as of the date that this video was posted, I have not played Bioshock 2 or Infinite, so I can't judge those yet.